Hi, this is Scott Norman from the Automotive Department at Pitt State University, and we have another installment of Gorillas in the Midst of the Automotive Industry. And today we have Jordan Lauer with us, a 2020 graduate. Hey, Jordan, let's start off by maybe telling everybody where you're from, which high school you went to. Did you have any automotive training while you were in high school?
So I'm originally from Gothenburg, Nebraska. It's western Nebraska, right next to UNK, where we play at Pitt State plays actually, about an hour away from there. Um, High school went to it was a small town. We didn't really have much for automotive training. We did have a small engines class that I did take for one semester, and that's kind of how I got into automotive a little bit. I kind of knew that I was heading that direction, had a real passion for cars a lot of my younger life and everything. So I wasn't really sure exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something with
Okay, okay. And so then what did you end up doing after high school?
cars. I immediately went to college at a community college up in around Lincoln, Nebraska, and spent 2 years there and worked at a dealership in Lincoln, a General Motors dealership for a while there.
Okay.
Got a lot of experience, and along with my training, it was a GM uh, training school. So basically, you're training to be a GM technician, and so worked at a GM dealership, got a lot of experience, and worked as a technician for a year after school. So 3 years total working as a technician, and then decided that I wanted to go back to school. So heard a lot about Pitt State and went down there, took a tour, and saw the College Technology Center or Kansas Technology Center, and immediately knew that that was right where I needed to be.
Oh, that's cool. Now, did you get your 2-year degree at Milford? Is that right?
Yes, Milford.
Okay, yeah, I've been there probably 2 or 3 times. They had a Chrysler CAP technician training program there back when I used to work for Chrysler. So I went there to talk to the CAP students a couple of times. I did some classes, but that was
Yeah.
back in the '90s. So that was quite a few. Yeah. Okay. And so then you have the 2+2 program. So you got your 2-year degree, and then you came down to Pitt State all the way from Nebraska. You know, it's a 5-hour drive by sure, probably a lot further to get home, right?
Yeah, about 8 hours.
Yeah, I was thinking it's about 5 hours to Lincoln, Nebraska is where I was driving. So you're 3 hours past Lincoln, Nebraska, right?
Yes,
Go up
yes.
to go up to Lincoln and then hang a left to get down Highway 80 is what you have to do to get to your place.
Interstate 80. Yeah.
Yep, all the way down. Yep. Yep. Okay. And so then during your 2 years at PSU, getting your Bachelor's of Applied Science, your BAS degree, did you have any experiences here at PSU as far as to help further your career? Any summer internships? Any work experience that you got while you were at PSU?
Yeah. So while I was at Pittsburgh, I did my after my first year, I did an internship with MHC Kenworth. So it was a Kenworth dealership out of Olathe, Kansas. They're all over, but wasn't really the direction I saw myself going, but really, really enjoyed it. It was a management training program. So I wasn't exactly a technician. It wasn't really what I've been doing before. But I was being trained to be a manager. So I was working with the company, learned how they did everything first, and then worked on strategies of management and learning all their part systems and you had to run the parts warehouse, and it was really extensive, really in depth. It was I enjoyed that a lot. It was a different direction, but it was always direct. Thought was maybe a possibility, so really, really enjoyed it. And then I came back and was hired on campus to do a to be a shop lab assistant for the automotive technology program.
Oh, I wonder who would hire you, boy.
And
Okay, I
so
hired him, so that's why I said that.
Enjoyed that a lot. I was it really got me interested in like teaching students and thoroughly explaining things, and it kind of took it away from when I was at the dealership. I was explaining to customers all the time exactly what was going on to help them better understand what exactly was going on with their car, and uh, putting that experience back into Pitt State, helping the students helped me a lot. I mean, experience is always everything, and I feel like that was just a great opportunity to get to know the professors more and get to know some of the students more and get more involved on campus.
Yeah, I tell students a lot of times that's kind of like icing on the cake. You know, you're already getting a good education, you have good experience. It's just making it that much better to get you better prepared for graduating and then going out and starting your first level entry level career job. So let's talk about what your plans are after 3 more weeks and you graduate here at PSU with your bachelor's degree. What's next?
So starting in July, I am going up to Detroit and working with Ford, uh, trying to get into their corporate side, I guess, and I would be a technical service analysis engineer. So I have a lot of big names for a lot of different jobs up there.
So that's a good question. So what does a technical service analyst engineer do with Ford?
So I'll be working, I guess it's an entry level position for them. Uh, they kind of start everybody there, from my understanding,
Mhm.
and it's you're answering phone calls or answering emails from technicians out in the dealership. So it's basically what I was doing before. And if you have troubles with the vehicle or you're trying to get some sort of warranty approved or special terms approved from service bulletins, then you call in to these guys, which would be what I'd be doing. We either approve or assist the technician in helping with either some sort of engineering notes or just working together. I mean, we see everything across the nation. You're working with technicians across the nation. I believe some with Canada actually also. So you're just getting calls in every day, helping technicians out and getting them to solve their problems, helping diagnose the vehicle to get them out, get it back
Interesting. Go ahead.
to get it back to the customer, get their vehicle back to the customer.
Yep, I am familiar with that job. That's something that I did with a Chevrolet Motor Division in my entry level career in the early '90s. I remember, this was 30 years ago. We were saying, of course, it was on the phone that we were answering calls from technician, and I remember thinking, man, it'd be really great if we had some type of way that we could see what you see on the car. And now I'm thinking with today's technology that that the technicians are getting out their phones and you're right there with them. You're doing some type of Zoom call like you and I are doing right now with the technician, and he's able to show you the readings or showing you what he sees. And I just think that right now that the tools that you have available are something that I was like dreaming about when I was doing that job.
Yeah. So it's a lot of explaining things visually, and like you said, a lot of times you don't have to do that anymore because a lot of times it's a Zoom meeting or it's some sort of video conference that you're doing with the technician. So if you're trying to find a specific wire in a vehicle, they can show you exactly what it is, and then you can look at it on a schematic.
Yep, exactly right. And then I assume they're going to give you lots of training when you get up there in July, right? They're going to probably send you through all their online classes and all their hands-on classes, and then assign you a skill, right, or an area.
Yeah. So what they usually do is I've been working on online training already to try and prepare me for the path already, but they send you in an area such as powertrain. So you're working just with the engines, and you get calls that are directed to you just for engines, and you help that technician diagnose that vehicle just on an engine part. So you're an expert in engines. But
So if you had to choose, which area would you more likely, say, hey, this is the area that I want to be in, if you had to choose right now?
strangely enough, I've always been really interested in the electrical or
Okay.
like the independent systems. That's kind of been a new category. I mean, when I was a technician, it was kind of beginning a new category. I would call in and they would have infotainment. So infotainment is like
Oh,
your entertainment screen, your center console, and all that. So that's a whole new system that I, for some reason, became very interested in that, even though
yeah.
it's a complex system. And
Well, you're right, because now they have jobs at dealerships where that's the only job is for somebody to explain to the customer how to operate that infotainment system, how to pair their
yeah,
phone to their car, and understanding all the screens in there. So it's a big area that's coming up. I always thought that the hybrid electric vehicle area would be kind of up and coming. So I think that would be kind of a cool area to be in too.
yes, it would.
Well, I do tell my students, since I've had experience in that area, that that is the one area that I think is a great start to your career, because you're going to learn diagnostics. You're going to be immersed into the Ford system. You're going to understand. They're going to teach you about their system, the way they do stuff, how to do something as simple as fill out a expense report. How to operate the computers, and you have people there to help you out and to mentor you. I remember when I was at Chrysler and I started to as a training instructor, they gave me a plane ticket, and so I flew out to Salt Lake City, and I had a training center, and I was the only one there. So I'm like not even knowing how to turn the alarm on and off and answering the phones, and I had to figure all that out by myself, and it was hard. And
Yeah,
so it's nice to go into an environment where you have all these people to help mentor you, get you ready to go. So then your next level job, you're ready to do it then.
absolutely. Yes.
So if you're thinking long term with Ford, is there any particular job that you may want to go with? Obviously, you could stay at their assistance center, or is there something else that you would maybe think about doing?
Always enjoyed quality control of some sorts. So either working with the engineers or actually, I've always enjoyed. I saw the position because they visited us sometimes at the dealership, was a field service engineer. So you're traveling out to the dealerships for special cases on a vehicle, and that technician absolutely can't figure out. And they go out and look at the vehicle and try and diagnose it themselves in person. And I think there's less and less of that just because of technology nowadays. But it's always a job I really wanted to see myself doing. But a lot of times, I mean, they're checking out the dealership a lot of times too,
Hmm. Yeah.
see how they are doing financially also. So I've always enjoyed all of those categories. So it's something that I would like to do eventually.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do that. That they just love that job. So that job's not an entry level job. So that's a couple rungs up after your entry level job. But every corporation will have their expert technician. I'm going to call them, but it's obviously a very high level person working for the corporation that's driving around, flying around, helping dealerships fix the vehicles that they call the hotline. They call you. You've done everything that you've done. It still is not being repaired. So they got to send someone out from Ford to be able to see, hey, what's going on with this? Maybe there's a fix where there's 100 vehicles out that have to be fixed, and so you're trying to figure out the fix. So then you could spread the word to all those 100 different dealerships, so everyone could then
Yeah,
fix them. So it's an important job.
yeah,
Well, what do you have as far as advice? So think about maybe a high school student that is thinking about a career in automotive technology. Maybe some words of wisdom that you could give them as they are starting their education and then you are finishing it. What do you
yeah.
think?
Uh, I would say, like looking back into high school, I was thinking about this today. Uh, Being where I am today and going at the job that I am today, I wouldn't have really seen myself in that position 5 years ago. How many it was since I graduated high school, and I just say dream big, have big goals, uh, set high standards for yourself. That's kind of what I did. I had big dreams, I guess, and if you have bigger dreams, you tend to work a little bit harder for a specific area. I mean, I like to think that I worked pretty hard at the dealership and tried to work my way up at the dealership pretty quickly. And I just say, yeah, stay focused. And another thing, when you do get on campus, stay involved, do multiple activities, multiple clubs and everything. That was one thing I really did, mainly because I mean, went in the workforce and then came back out of it to go to school. And I was used to working 8 to 6 or whatever every day, and just got extremely bored on campus. So got involved in clubs and everything, but it was always something. I was always trying to do something to better myself,
Oh,
like either better my presentation skills or better my people talking skills. And that was something I always kind of struggled with. So I put myself in uncomfortable situations. So that's another thing. Put yourself in a bunch of uncomfortable situations. Because then if you get comfortable doing that, then you do better. So, I mean, just staying involved on campus. I was involved in 3 or 4 different clubs, and 2 of them were automotive. And just getting to know the guys, getting to know the professors and everybody really puts yourself ahead when it comes to that interview day when you're interviewing for that company and you go into the interview, you feel confident, you're not nervous, and yeah, just improving people skills, I think, is the biggest thing. But
right.
also, I mean, technical skills are obviously there too. But Pittsburgh, the automotive technology program, sets you up so well for that whole deal. Uh, if you have any sort of question whatsoever, the professors are always right there to help you out and kind of push you a little bit above your limits, just to push you harder and keep you going so you're improving yourself all the time.
Well, that's great advice, Jordan. Man, I am excited for you because I remember, 30 years ago, I was packing up all my stuff and I'm driving to Detroit, just like you're doing. And so, I mean, it's exciting to be able to start a career like this. And so, you know what? I think it'd be kind of cool to maybe have us talk again a year from now. So you have a year under your belt with Ford. You have been assigned an area, and then you can talk a little bit more to us about maybe your daily tasks up there and everything that you learned and everything like that. So,
That's interesting.
yep, I am wishing you the best of luck.
Thank you. Thanks.
And again, this is Scott Norman. And if you're wanting more interviews like this with fellow PSU alumni that, as far as interested in different careers in the automotive industry, please see my YouTube channel. It's the Professor Pintane YouTube channel, and look for the playlist of Gorillas in the Mist of the Automotive Industry. Thank you very much, and you guys have a good night.